Welcome to Powerplayers in Business and Life with Adrienne Richardson, the show where brilliant leaders in business share powerful insider secrets and strategies to succeeding in life and business. Now, here's your host, Adrienne.
Hey everyone, I'm your host, Adrienne Richardson, founder of the Powerplayers in Business and Life podcast, where I get the honor of interviewing fascinating, big-hearted people who have brilliant minds. Today's guest is Lydia Knight. She's the creator of the award-winning program Beat the Binge, a proven signature system which has helped hundreds of people with severe eating disorders to be fully free physically and mentally from food urges forever. She's founded Life with Lydia, whose mission is to end eating disorders and free the world from the chains of binge eating, bulimia, overeating, food obsession, and body hate. A recipient of the Sacred Service Award, she's also recognized for her humorous series, Meet Your Brains. Her most recent enterprise is Rise Academy, an inclusive course designed to shift the way society views women, dieting, and eating disorders. She's often traveling the world with her partner and daughter, but can always be found at lifewithlydia.com. Lydia, welcome to the show. It's so great to have you here with us today.
Hey, it's so great to be here. Thanks for having me on, Adrienne.
So as I just shared with our audience, you're a power player when it comes to freeing women of their food addictions. And while that is quite remarkable in and of itself, how you serve your clients is pretty incredible too. So before we jump into the interview, I just want to say that this show is airing during the midst of the coronavirus crisis. And I asked Lydia to come on the show today specifically because I want to talk about how to best serve our clients during this challenging time. And I've watched how Lydia has handled this entire situation. She's handled it with such grace and such kindness. And I thought it'd be perfect to bring her on to talk about this today. So many people are in fear. Businesses have changed. Brick and mortar has come to a halt. And so Lydia, let's just start the conversation with, how are you seeing this, impact businesses? We both have so many friends that, are business owners. How are you seeing this impact business right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that there are lots of different ways to do a business, but depending on the circumstance, it impacts different people in different ways. So I know brick and mortars, food industry, anywhere where people need to gather and go to a physical place, it's a really rough time for businesses like that. I have business owners that own restaurants or, own places where they're dependent on people coming in or, a gathering, and it's just really, really hard. And then there are other businesses that are really well set up for this sort of circumstance, or have elements that allow them to have a really smooth transition. So I know that mentally as well, right? It's like there's a lot of fear and panic and a huge amount of unknown. And so I think it's a really interesting introspection for business owners to be like, okay, like emotionally, physically, how do different circumstances sort of test our business and our ability to be able to serve our clients?
Yeah, it's really interesting. The other day I went out to pick up takeout food, and Lydia and I both live right outside of the Nashville area. And as I was driving around, I was just like, I started to get really sad because there's nobody on the road. Like all of the businesses, are closed. And I just couldn't help but think about all of the people that work there, the employees, the business owners, how this is affecting them. And for a lot of them, they don't have an online business like we do, and they're having to pivot. And I feel like there's some businesses that are doing a really, really good job with that. Like rather than kind of being a victim of their circumstances, they're like, okay, how do I pivot? What do I need to do? What do I need to change? And I think that the businesses that are hanging in there and doing well and that are going to thrive are those that are thinking like that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that this has brought to light a lot of the ways that we manage our business or manage our lives and mindset before this, right? Because like when the circumstance happens, that's when we get to really find out where we've been. I know these are principles that you talk about, Adrienne, that, I talk about, I teach my clients of your mindset around this, because no matter how the coronavirus is impacting your business, we're getting to find out, like, have we set up a structure internally where we're seeing the opportunity, or are we going into a place of like, how on earth are we going to get through this? Or like you said, like there's that creativity of, okay, like this is the way that it is. Like, how are we going to make this make our business even stronger than it's ever been through this.
Yeah. Well, I know for me, and I'm sure I know for sure that this is the same for you, is when all of this started to happen and when it all got real, right? Because like there was a point in time when it was just like, that's in other countries. And then like at the point in time when it got real, the first thing that came to my mind was my clients. And like, okay, how do I make sure they're okay? How do I take care of them? How do I serve them even more? And I'm sure your mind went to that too, of thinking about your clients. And so I'd love to know like first thoughts that came to mind for you when it was like, how do I take care of my clients, or how do I check in on them? How do I make sure they're okay? Like, what are some initial things that you did in your business when this got real?
Yeah, great question. So, and we can go into this, but I was really grateful that my business was already set up in a place where with this happening, we already had a really strong sense of community, and we, coach people all over the world, and especially when it started getting real, right? But there are a couple of anchor questions that I have come back to during this time, Adrienne. So the first one, especially when thinking of our clients, just like, both of our minds went like, these are the people in our flock, right? It's like, This is our tribe. And so the first guiding question for me has been, how can I be generous? Like, I think that when we wake up with the clients that are going to be coming to us, or the clients that we've already helped, or the clients we're currently helping, like, how can I be generous in this? And then the other question I've really been asking myself is, in the midst of this, how can I step up and lead and really be a light to them? Because our clients see us as teachers, as authority, as someone who's been able to give them something that they couldn't have themselves because of what we're experts at. And so really stepping up and leading and setting that mindset, setting the environment for which they can thrive. And then the third thing is like, how can we really see the opportunity here, right? It's like there's an incredible opportunity to strengthen our business, strengthen the way we serve our clients, bring everyone together. There's something about a worldwide pandemic that brings everyone back into their heart and really focus on what matters. And what I found is it was a really organic thing. One thing that I thought of, okay, how can I be generous, is I actually sent out a message to every client that we've ever helped, the hundreds and hundreds of people all around the world, and said, you know what, we're going to come together. We're going to do, it's absolutely free. We're going to come together. We're going to do some bonus Q&A sessions. We're going to really, have discussion together. And there was this incredible response and this amazing feeling of heart, because that's what people wanted, right? They wanted to come and huddle together and be with the community. And, it's brought incredible strength that way. So those are a couple of questions that I know has really guided me as an anchor from day to day.
Yeah. So let's just talk about that for something that you said for a minute, because I'm seeing some people, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, so please don't hear me, the people who are listening. I see some people that are just all of a sudden giving their services away for free, and they're giving their programs away for free. And they're just like, oh, I just want to help people. I feel bad charging people money right now. I just want to give everything away. And while I can 100% understand their heart and where they're coming from, two things with that. Number one, our economy can't survive on free. Our economy needs us to keep selling and keep buying. But number two, what I love that you just said is that those of us who really, really care about our people and care about serving our people, we do want to give and be generous. And so I love what you did. It wasn't like, hey, let me contact every person that's ever been interested in working with me and give away everything I have for free. But it was like, how can I serve them and add more value and meet them where they're at and give them something they need right now, which is that connection, which is a place for them to be heard, a place for them to be understood. A place for them to get support from the leaders, like you said. And so I love that you did that you reached out and you were like, let me offer value and support by offering a free Q&A, not necessarily of like, let me give away everything that I have for free.
I think that's such a great point. And I think anyone who gets really incredible results for their clients, and I mean, the generosity in the heart of wanting to give things away for free, like I can understand the humanness of that. But I think being successful and not only like in a great business, but the kind of business that gets phenomenal results for your clients, what you learn very quickly is people value what they're invested in. Like, I don't see my value, like I don't see my clients as, giving me their money to have my support. I see it as they're investing in themselves in a way where they are owning their results. And that's one element of what gets our clients really incredible results. Like, I know that in the spirit of service, if I just started giving away my program for free, then people wouldn't be getting the results that my clients got that really invested back in themselves. And so I think that sometimes there's a confusion of, oh, I want to give and serve, so I'm going to give it away for free, not realizing that that is a disservice. Like, people need to invest in themselves to show up and get the results. If you're an amazing business owner, you get amazing results for your clients, then it's probably worth an investment. And that's part of the results they get, is that investment in themselves, in that gesture of worthiness, in that drawing that line in the sand and saying, yes, I'm committed to the results and showing up for myself.
Yeah. And that's so good. And that doesn't change if there's a pandemic. Like, people still are going to be more committed to solving their problem when they've invested in the solution to that. When the solution is given to us, we don't find the same value in it. And that is true no matter what is going on in our economy or in our world. And so I think it's really important for those people that are listening. I've talked to so many people in the last couple of weeks, and there are a percentage of people that are saying, well, I just feel bad right now charging, for my services, or I feel bad asking people for money. And I think that is you have to reframe and relook at the way that you're thinking about that, because before you looked at it as them investing in solving the problem, right? But now all of a sudden you're like, well, I feel bad taking their money. Like, you yourself have changed the way you've looked at that. Not you, but people who think that way. And I think that that's something that those people who are feeling that or thinking that need to reevaluate and remind themselves, like you said, of what is the value that I'm providing to this person, and how am I able to change their life?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that with a crisis that happens, or any sort of change, it really uncovers what our underlying assumptions and beliefs were about the own value that we deliver to our clients, about really what we thought about ourselves. Because it's not like, oh, well, I feel bad now that there's the coronavirus in having my clients invest in themselves. I would say that there was probably an element of, I felt bad before that. And that was probably impacting your business. That was probably an underlying belief about yourself, or what you're delivering to your clients, or how investment and how that really works to get people really the best results. So I think it's uncovering the things that were already there, which is such a gift, right? To be able to see here's a belief, a limiting belief that was in me that is now being brought to light because of a circumstance. Yeah.
So, you talked briefly also, and when you were sharing those things, was about the leadership, right? And who we are in the face of this, and how we show up for our clients. And I would imagine that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine that with your particular audience, especially those who have an eating disorder that is often caused by either some kind of trauma or some kind of thought pattern or some kind of, better than me what it's caused by, but I would imagine that something like this happening in their life may be triggering or causing some things to come up in them that were already there. They thought they were over. So how are you showing up as a leader for your clients right now? And how is this affecting them?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you asked, Adrienne. And this is actually, I'm going to do a quick little debunking some myths here, because
I probably got it all wrong.
No, but it's a great opportunity for us to really shine light on what eating disorders really are. So there's this old thinking, and the way that has never worked to end eating disorders, which is, well, it's not really about the food. It's about past trauma. It's about you don't have coping mechanisms because you have emotional issues or whatever it is. And I mean, we have clients who have come to us after 25 years of therapy, and they're literally saying, there's nothing else to talk about. I sorted through all the stuff. I've gained 100 pounds in the last 25 years. And then they come to us and really get at the root of what's happening. And they're able to, in a matter of weeks, be completely free of their eating disorder. So a really beautiful thing, Adrienne, is you're right. In the eating disordered world, people who are dependent on, going to a meeting every day, people who are dependent on, digging back in their trauma and all sorts of different, therapy to try to manage it. People who are dependent on buying all their special foods and not having food in the house. It has hit them really hard. This is the eating disorder, support industry has been hit super hard. but we have had tons of, like, we've had a flood of people come to us because people are realizing, like, you've got to get free of your eating disorder in the real world. Like, you can't be dependent on something else or going to someone or like having this, okay, we're going to, try to manage this every day for the rest of our lives. And so a beautiful thing that we've seen happen with the grads of our program and our clients is they are in situations that in the past, before they came to us, would have been phenomenally triggering. They're trapped with their food indoors. They're an incredible amount of, emotional stress. And the beauty of this is, as we've come together as a community and a tribe of our clients, there has just been this flood of gratitude of, I would have been binging. My eating disorder would have been so bad right now. And I'm fine. Like, I'm good. Like, they're able to be leaders in their world because them being done with their eating disorders it's not connected to circumstances. Now, they're still stressed. We're still coming together. We're still reaching out and being a community. But this is if you have gotten amazing results for your clients up until this point, this is an incredible opportunity for them to really reach out. We have had so many clients online, everyone is flooding online. I'm struggling with my eating disorder. I'm binging, I'm out of control, and all of these, Facebook, groups, people that struggle. And we have seen our clients go online and be leaders in this that's because you were always dependent on eating a certain way. That's because you were always dependent on this. Like, you can be free. You can be on the other side of this. And it's brought a gratitude of, wow, like, you can be free no matter the circumstance. And our grads have become this like warrior army of like going out in the world and what actually works. So this is an amazing opportunity, I think, for whoever you serve to say, look at, because of working with us, the gratitude you get to feel, and think of the people who don't have that yet, that need it more than ever.
Yeah. And what's really interesting, and like you said, a lot of humor is coming out of this. I'm like addicted to the humorous memes about Corona right now. And, a lot of us deal with hard things through humor. When I was a paramedic for 9 years, humor is the way that you deal with really hard things. But I'm seeing all like the quarantine 15, like usually when you go to college and you gain 15 pounds, like now it's like the quarantine 15, or, there's tons of things about people related to food right now. And for whether people had an eating disorder or not before this, for those who did and those who didn't, like, food is definitely on people's mind right now. There's a shortage of food in the grocery stores. And plus, we're all sitting home all day long. And so food has suddenly become very, very top of mind for everyone, regardless of their situation. And I think that people having a resource to turn to, like one of the interesting things is that I was talking to someone the other day who has a business where she helps therapists get clients.
Yeah.
And the therapist's business have come to a screeching halt. And that was really shocking to me, because I was like, during a time like this, I would expect that it would grow. But some of them are not doing well in transitioning from brick and mortar to online. Some of them are resistant to it. Some people aren't seeing the urgency of it right now, and they're looking at it as a way to save money. But for you, that's not been the case. You have an online business. You've been doing this online. You have a way to serve people. You have a specific message that reaches people. And food is top of mind right now.
Absolutely. And I think that, again, the circumstance really wakes up what was already there that maybe we manage in our routine or we manage in our day-to-day. But, people a lot of times when they come to us, they don't even think of their struggle as an eating disorder. They think, oh, I'm an emotional eater, or I'm a stress eater. But it's something that it's impacting their health. It's impacting their mental wellness. It's impacting their ability to really like be who they're meant to be in their world. Because they're like, well, if I can't, figure out this thing with food, what else, can I not do? Like, it's a self-trust and a confidence thing. So I think it's a really important time for, like you said, food is so top of mind because so many people are realizing the connection that they have with stress or emotions and food that maybe wasn't so present before. So I think it's a good opportunity for everyone to look internally and be like, okay, what is it an amazing time to fix right now? Like, we're here at home. Like, like, what do you want to
Yeah.
do? Like, you're getting to see your stuff, and this is an amazing time to work on that. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think people are, you said seeing their stuff. I think a lot of people are seeing their stuff right now about when you're stuck in a house with your family members. A lot of people are seeing their stuff, and there are amazing resources out there to help people, and you're one of them. And, you know, the funny thing is, I think a lot of people, like you said, they don't necessarily have a food addiction, quote unquote, that they would call it that, but the emotional eating is real for a lot of people. And during a time like this, it could get completely out of hand for them. Like, just thinking about myself, for example, you know, I had given up, I'm a lover of Starbucks coffee. Every morning when I drop my kids off at school, I go get my Starbucks. And for me, it's like a warm hug. Like, it's how I start my day every day. But I had decided a couple months ago that because of all the calories and the sugar and this and that, and I'm like all or nothing, like I'm not doing the sugar-free crap, like either give it to me or I'm not going to have it at all. So I had given up my Starbucks completely about 2 months ago and was so proud of myself. I was doing so well. And then when this all happened and I had to be like stuck in the house, I found myself every day being like, who wants to go on a Starbucks run? Like I wanted, number one, to get out of the house. But number two, I wanted that feeling again. Like I wanted that warm hug again. And while I don't turn to, it's easy to be like, well, I don't turn to drugs. I don't turn to alcohol. I don't turn to whatever. Like I realized about myself that I turn to that food to make me feel better. And I think a lot of people who didn't realize that about themselves are going to be staring that in the face right now and realizing they have a problem.
Yeah. And, you know, in that's such a perfect example, Adrienne, you know, of being able to just notice like where that emotional pull is, or like where we're going for comfort. And again, like that mindset piece of, we can either look at this as feeling so defeated because we've got all this stuff coming up and why do I have this connection, or, you know, beating ourselves up, or seeing it as the incredible gift that it is of like, thank you for this time that I can see that in myself. Like,
yeah,
you can't fix something you can't see. Like you can't change something you're not aware of. So that awareness, whether it's in our health, our relationship with food, you know, our business, our mindset about our business, like there is an incredible gift of seeing what is coming up for us, because those are the opportunities that are going to be the most important for us. And we can see them now.
Yeah. So good. So I know we're bouncing back and forth between like business and food. And I just feel like it's the perfect combination of things that I just feel like this is so timely of both topics. I want to talk about, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot here because I didn't ask you to do this ahead of time, and I'm going to do it too off the top of my head, but I was wondering if we could spend a couple minutes and give people ideas. You gave one, the Q&A, of how we could offer additional support to our clients to make them feel loved and cared about, or serve them or whatever way possible. And one of the things that I want to start with, an idea, something that's really been on my heart, is the idea of giving people grace. Nobody that's alive right now has ever lived through a pandemic. Nobody,
Yeah.
Whether you're a politician, whether you're a mom, whether you're a doctor, no matter who you are, or what has happened, there's nobody who has dealt with something like this before. And everybody handles it differently. And I see a lot of people getting mad at people or jumping all over them or being judgmental or critical of them. And I just really want to encourage people to show some grace to those people around us, because everybody handles this differently, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we need to keep that in mind, is that just having some extra patience and grace for people, whether it's your clients, whether it's your family, whomever, in yourself even, to really offer that to people right now is really important.
Yeah, I love that. And I think this is great discussion. One thing that we've done is really teaching our clients how to be leaders in this. Leaders need leaders, right? And there's actually a group of our grads, you know, so many of our people come to us, Adrienne, and they say, one reason that I really want to fix my eating disorder is I want to be able to give hope to other people. Like they just have an incredible heart and, reaching out and wanting to be able to help others if they can ever get free. And, once they come to us and they get free, there's all this desire for how can I help? How can I help? So if you have, clients with this heart, like teach them how to lead. So we actually created a group called Freedom Warriors. And again, everything that we do is based online. So we have a really fun app where we all communicate with each other. And so we have our own little group. And these are our freedom warriors where they're actually saying like, how can I reach out? How can I help? And I teach them, like I give them special tutorials and I lead them in how to be able to share, how to be able to give hope to people, how to reach out, how to respond to people. And it's been an incredible value. So it also gives somebody an identity of leadership. And in a time like this, with any sort of crisis, then we either shrink or we expand. And if you can teach your clients how to expand, how to lead others, even if it's just in positivity. We had clients get together and we're just like, you guys just share positivity on social media. Like there's a lot of fear right now, like balance that out. And when your clients can look to you for that leadership, it's an incredible thing for their life. So that's another thing that I would give is teach your clients how to be leaders, how to lead others in the midst of this. Because when they're the example of that, when all of a sudden their identity is like, oh, I'm leading the positivity. Oh, I'm leading the hope. Yes. And that actually really helps them internally as well.
So a way to expand on what you just said, for those of you listening, there's two things you could do. Number one, you start a Facebook group if you don't have one already that has your clients in it, anybody you've worked with before, and do what Lydia is talking about, showing them how to show up as a leader, showing them how to give hope to people that have gone through or dealing with the same problem that you solved for them in light of what's going on. And then to even expand on that, what you could consider, if it makes sense for your business, is you create a pop-up Facebook group. And when I say pop-up Facebook group, those are usually temporary groups, which you could make it permanent eventually. But if not, you could create a pop-up Facebook group right now for the people out there in the world. It's a free group for people who still have that problem that they haven't solved yet. And then you put your clients in there as well and empower them to show up and serve as leaders and give hope to the people in that group as well. And so you could do one or the other or both. But I think what Lydia just said of like creating this group of people who are your former clients who you've solved this problem from them, helping them to be kind of these warriors for you and show up as leaders. And then, like I said, creating a secondary pop-up group maybe that is specific to what is going on in the world right now and how it relates to the problem that you solve, and fill it with people who have that problem, but then also add your clients in there, your former clients who you've solved this problem for them, go in there and be able to show up and be leaders and provide hope for people. Because like you said, Lydia, it not only helps those people that are in the group, but it helps the people who you're empowering to be leaders keep themselves in the right state of mind and keep them focused on hope and promise and goodness, because they're having to show up that way.
Oh, absolutely. And, we've seen people go from a place of like, oh my gosh, I'm stressing out so much. Like, what am I going to do? There's so much unknown, to as soon as they put on that cape of that identity of like, I'm leading, they're in the group every day. They're like, all right, guys, like, here's what I'm doing today. Here's how I'm staying positive. Like, people oftentimes just need an invitation and an identity, and we're able to give that to our clients. The other thing that I was thinking, Adrienne, for both, with business and, clients and that humanness, is to take what's happening right now in our world, whether it's with health or health or emotions, and bring your clients back together and show them how what you've already taught them applies to what's happening right now. So for instance, the principles of how to be completely free and not have an eating disorder anymore, ending that cycle, you can use those same principles with emotions like fear, with being in that, obsessive thinking and worrying. And so what we did was we brought our clients together and we said, you guys, go back and visit the content that we gave you when you first got started about ending your eating disorder. And I want you to see that through the lens of dealing with fear, through the lens of dealing with panic or the unknown. And it has been so enlightening, and it's deepening these principles for all of them. And then they are able to see really the relevance of what you've taught them, but with this new angle to look at it with. And so that has been a really cool thing in our community as well.
Yeah, and that's a great idea. One of the things that I did is I created a video talking about the pivot people need to make with their Facebook ads right now while they're running advertising during this time, and sent that out to my whole list. And so that is a way that you can serve and add value to your clients, is think about, what problem do you typically solve for people? How does that look different right now in light of what's happening in the world? And still tying the two together of the problem you solve, but maybe how it looks different. And just put together a quick video of the top 3 tips or the top 5 things that you pivots or changes that people need to make, where it's still, your method still works for solving whatever problem you've been solving for people, but maybe there's a shift or a pivot that you need to make. And the best way to serve your audience, whether you give that to everybody or you just bring it together for the clients that you have, or how you do that, is I just created a simple 15-minute video that told people exactly what to do and shared that. And so that's also a way, when you talked in the very beginning about generosity, is thinking about, well, how can I serve people? How can I be generous right now? That is something that you could do for your audience as well.
Yeah, love that.
So one of the things you mentioned was how you're doing the Q&A, where you were like, hey, we're just reaching out to all of our, old clients, anybody who's ever worked with us, and doing a Q&A to like bring them together, bring them on and answer their questions. So one thing I wanted to share, Julie Stoyan is a good friend of mine, and she runs a company called Funnel Gorgeous. And she has been such a leader in all of this. And I've watched how she's handled this, and two things that she's done with talking about Q&A that you had mentioned. Number one, for all of her clients, she's doing like a weekly, let's just jump on and talk about what happened in your business this week. Was it good? Was it bad? What did you learn? And she's like helping them come up with ideas of how to pivot. So she's doing that weekly. She didn't used to do a weekly call like that with her clients, but now she's adding that in, which I thought was beautiful. And people are showing up and they're feeling so supported, and she's helping them to come up with ideas. And then the second thing that she did that I think a lot of people could also do is just kind of a happy hour, right? Like everybody wants to still connect and spend time with people. And so it was like, hey, Saturday night, 8:00, we're jumping on, bring a glass of wine, bring some tea, bring whatever you want to do, and let's just hang out. And so she's doing that with her clients, and not just, a lot of us are doing that with our friends and family, but even offering kind of like a happy hour or something to hang out and showing up and being human. Right. And so, yes, sometimes they talk about business, but a lot of them are talking about their challenge with how they all of a sudden have to homeschool their kids and still run their business. And so we're just showing up and supporting each other. And so that's another idea that you could do for people, for your clients, to help really make them feel taken care of right now, and for you to feel generous and serve them in that way. So, for some people listening, that may work for them as well.
Yeah, super fun. Actually, one thing that we're doing this week, Adrienne, is we're doing a dance party with all of our grads. So we're all getting on Zoom, and I have some tunes picked out, and we're just going to have like a quick little dance party to just like move around and, be in our homes. And I've really seen, like we wanted to give lots of value in the Q&A, and I thought people would have all of these, questions. And it was interesting when we, opened up these Q&As for everyone to just join. The feeling has been wonderful. And it surprised me that it wasn't so much about, oh, it's an opportunity for getting my questions answered. Most everyone wanted to be on there to just be together. They wanted to be on there to celebrate. They wanted to be on there to just see everyone again. They wanted that humanness. So even if you're not sure exactly, what you would do, like bring people together and see what they want to do. Like it's been really cool to see the sense of community that has been created. And, if you created a feeling for your clients, and you created an experience, and for them to come back to that and want to come back to that is just an amazing testament of what we've already been creating in the world.
Yeah. I think that we're going to see a lot of good come out of this. I know for fact we're going to see a lot of good come out of this. Does that mean there won't be heartache and pain along the way? No. But I think that we're going to see a lot of good come out of this, and people connecting more. Like I know this is going to sound so crazy, but like our family that still lives in New Jersey, because we moved to Nashville, I've never, ever in the 2 years since we moved thought, hey, let's all jump on Zoom and like connect. Like we call each other. Right? We just call each other on the phone. And I'm like, why the heck have I never thought about that before? Of like, I'm on Zoom every day, all day in my business. I literally have never thought, let me get on Zoom with my family and we see each other's faces and talk. And so just things like this and finding ways, us humans, we want to connect with others. And so people are getting creative and finding ways to connect right now, which I think is beautiful. And as a business owner, you're still a human being and your clients are human beings and they still want to connect. And so the best thing that you can do for your clients and for your business is to stay connected and get creative. Like Lydia said, dance parties. What other creative thing could you do? You could have like cooking sessions together online. You could have study sessions. There's like so many cool things you could probably do together online. And this is going to transform and help your clients and your business grow during this challenging time. So anything else you want to add, Lydia? Any other ideas, any other cool things you're seeing or hearing about?
Yeah, well, I know that you probably felt this as well, Adrienne, but I've just been so deeply grateful that I have a business that is online, that I have a business where we can be completely uninterrupted by this, like, of course, like life is different, but being able to support our clients and already have everything online, to have incredible people coming to us, wanting to be our clients, thanks to you and all the help that, you've helped us with. For those of you who don't know, Adrienne helped us to, scale our business and bring all the right clients to us. And it's just been phenomenal. And I think that this is such a cool time in that gratitude for wherever our business is, of thinking like, how can we make our business more resilient, right? If this happened again next year, not that we would want that, but like if it did, what can we put in place right now so that we can be able to serve our clients and not depend on just one channel to do that? There's just so much opportunity. And I mean, of course, there's a lot of hard things going on, but like you said, it's just going to make the world and the human race and business and, leadership stronger than ever. And I know that, the people listening to this podcast, Powerplayers, like we're the leaders in the world. And so using this opportunity and really coming at it with, okay, how could this be amazing, is, I think, one of the best ways to weather the storm.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. We did not originally have this plan to talk about at all when we decided we were going to have you on the show. And I just want to thank you so much for your time and what you shared. I know people will be motivated and inspired and given hope through the conversation that we had today. And so for those that are listening and they think they may have a food addiction or a problem, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you, Lydia?
Yeah, great question. So they can just pop over to lifewithlydia.com. My name is Lydia, so lifewithlydia.com. And what we actually provide is a free session, and they'll be able to see a button to schedule that so that they can really get clear on the next steps of how to solve this and really, see what's happening. And it's free, it's judgment free. It's, a way to really see how you can get to that place where you can be free and done. And we also have a free masterclass that is there. If you go to that lifewithlydia.com page, you can be able to see our masterclass as well with the 5 elements of how to end binge eating. And that's a really amazing place to start. So that would probably be the best hub for people to get the very best first step help to solve this problem with food.
Great. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here. I hope that your family is doing well and that you are safe and healthy. And I just can't thank you enough for everything that you offered today. It was wonderful information that you shared. And I know that it's going to help our listeners with their businesses and with them personally as well.
Thanks so much for having me on and for everything that you do, Adrienne.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Powerplayers in Business and Life. Be sure to click subscribe. To learn more about Adrienne, visit www.wearepowerplay.com. We'll see you next time.